Hello, adventurers. Apparently, I've forgotten all that I know about playing piano. I'm just trying to find some chord progressions here that sound like I did on purpose. But you know, that's not what it's about necessarily. It's just about us being here together and sharing this time, this space, this topic. What a topic, huh? So welcome to Adventurous Spirits. This is episode number 35, entitled Under Pressure. Is anybody feeling a little pressure in general, or today specifically? I don't typically, but I do think it is a common thing for adventurers and for people who take on difficulties, who take on challenges. It's just a natural course of life. It makes sense that we're going to run into some obstacles. We're going to run into some big enough challenges that we see them coming, and we have plenty of time to worry about it. It can also be sort of like test anxiety. You know, I was talking to my friend Mary this morning about testing and the process of having kids in school and how many tests they have to take. And sometimes it's just a see what you know kind of a test. It doesn't really affect your future in any tangible way. It's just a way of saying, okay, here's what we remember, here's what we need to revisit in the new school year. But also, a lot of those tests do matter. They go on your record, they apply to the grades that you're getting, they make a difference for what you're going to do with your life and with your time and what you're going to study. And even how you are perceived. And as we were talking about this, my mind just started going to all the ways that I identify with this right now, the way that I have felt this. And playing music is just one really easy example. Being an entrepreneur is another really easy example. I won't get too far down that path, but I just want to recognize that whenever I am playing music on purpose, you know, I can sit down and play just by myself, and there's no pressure at all. There are things that I want to do, there are sounds I want to hear, but if I don't hear it, I can just play it again, and it doesn't affect anybody. Steve, hey, Steve is here. Steve responded to my question. I asked, are you feeling a little pressure? And he says, a little pressure? No. A whole lot of pressure? Absolutely. Oh no. Steve, I'm right there with you. So tell me if you can relate to this concept. I play piano all the time, as I was saying. I love to play on my own. I love to play for other people, even if someone's in the room and I'm like, I want to play you this song. But there's really no consequence to messing up or just, you know, forgetting lyrics, you know, some of the common frustrations of playing. But as soon as I try to record something, or as soon as I sit down in front of a room full of people, or as soon as I set up my podcast software and hit go, somehow things change. Somehow it is not so breezy. You have a little bit of pressure on, even as much as I've done this. I mean, this is episode 35. I've done this pretty much every week for most of 2023. I mean, not all of 2023, because we haven't finished this year yet. It's only September. But if I keep it up, then it will be all of 2023 for the next 3 months. So I think this is a welcome space to recognize that. I think that is the first step of dealing with pressure, is to say, this is happening. Nobody benefits by trying to act like we're fine, everything's fine, just keep it together, smile. Nobody benefits from that. The only possible exception is if you are actually in front of a group of people trying to make sure they have a good time. And then there's that show must go on kind of mentality where really I think that's humility to recognize there are surprises yet in store for us in this show. So let's see what happens. Let's just carry on as if everything is going the way it should. But that's for performance. That's for the specific purpose of show. I mean, it literally is show. That doesn't serve us in ordinary everyday life. There's no show involved in this. I mean, there's a little bit in what I'm doing right now because I do want you to have a good time. And if I were sitting here having a major microphone issue or something, as long as it wasn't affecting the recording so much that I couldn't continue, I would just act like it was fine. That's fine for show, but for real life, let's recognize it. Let's call it out. Let's share it with one another because it is so common, honestly. Everybody can relate. And, Steve, I just commend you for having no qualms about recognizing you feel a whole lot of pressure right now. And I'm right there with you. And as much pressure as we feel, I truly do believe that we are rising to the occasion. That said, it's not optimal, I think, to feel that ongoing pressure all the time. So let's talk about some strategies and some ways of alleviating the pressure. And just one of them is recognizing it, pointing it out, and specifying this is what's happening. There's more. I've never played this song on the podcast before, and I felt like sharing it today because it deals with, I think, the pressures that if you in your life have dedicated a lot of time and energy to putting your faith in a higher power, into a religion, into some faith community, there might be some pressure that you feel to come through challenges like, that all happened for a reason, or whatever sort of token phrases you hear bandied about in those religions. And I think there are times when those phrases are helpful. It's a truth that I believe, even if I don't feel it all the time. But sometimes those phrases are masking the real thing that's going on. And I don't think that helps anybody. I don't think that is helpful in your religion or in your faith. So this song is called Irony, and it's all about trying to do better than God, basically. So I want to share it today with the hope that it just kind of breaks some of that tension and helps us all recognize we're all doing our best here. And even if we could craft the universe and shape reality, there's still a lot left to be desired. So here we go. This song is called Irony. Lord, you know I love you, though I don't always like you, but through it all I need you just the same. In plenty and in dire straits, happy times and heartaches, mysteries and mistakes, you reign. There's no one like you. I guess that's for the best. Who else, what other person punishes their friends? Who else would put me through the ringer to see if I will rest? I assure you the irony is not lost on me. Words, you say you never left me, but I struggle with my history. How could it all work out to be what's best? You're bigger and you're smarter, now I'm tougher and I'm harder than any child of God ought to be. There's no one like you. I guess that's just as well. Who else in history has such a bill of goods to sell? Who knew the pathway to heaven could lead straight through hell? I assure you the irony is not lost on me. It's not lost on me. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Don't give Satan foothold in this mortal combat for your joy. You're still the one I turn to when everything else falls through. No matter what, I can't deny what's true. That there's no one like you, and that's hard to take. If we could trade places, what changes I'd make. I know I promised you obedience, but why can't I get my way? Have I told you how lately, how much I love irony? You are the one who always gets your way. You are the one who has the final say. And I know that this should be comforting to me. So, what happens if I get everything the way that I want it to be? Ostensibly, there's no pressure, because everything that I hope to accomplish and everything that I see expected of me just happens, you know? And so I feel like this is sort of the core stressor when you're in a testing situation and you're feeling anxious, you're feeling that pressure. When I feel this as well. We don't have as much control as we want. So is the answer to then take control, to figure out how to control more things? I think that can be a natural reaction. And maybe I think we all probably have our own ways of dealing with that out of control feeling. How to manage your pressured experience. I'm not really a take control kind of person. Sometimes I feel like maybe I should be more that way. But really I think it's a different thing. So I think one really key aspect of dealing with pressure is to recognize what it is I'm feeling pressure for. What is the thing that I feel I can't control And what is my response to that? Do I panic? That's me. That's Courtney's response. I tend to freeze and panic and go, oh no, I can't do this. And recognize, oh, that's because my expectation is here. Whether or not that's anyone else's expectation, that's what I feel has to happen. And if that doesn't happen, this one thing, then it's all for naught. It's very dramatic. I'm a huge failure and everyone knows, and I may as well just throw in the towel now. And in reality, that's kind of what winds up happening. That panic response just freezes me and keeps me from really doing anything useful for myself or for other people. And so then there's the secondary response, which is procrastination. Just avoid the situation, avoid all of the things that need to be done, because if I don't look at it, then maybe it doesn't really exist. You know, when you say these things out loud, it starts to sound kind of silly. But it's true. It's what exists in the dark recesses of my mind and heart. And so saying it out loud is a big part of dealing with it, recognizing, okay, this is how I feel, and so this is what I want to do. And as I'm saying it, I start to see a little more clearly how this is actually not very helpful. So naming that fear, calling it out, and saying, this is normal. This is not a thing that's special and unique to Courtney. Nobody else in the world feels this. This is a big part of why I write songs and why I can perform them in front of people, is because I recognize, like, we all deal with these things. And so it's not necessarily revelatory. I'm not just dumping out my diary in front of you. I'm welcoming you into my struggle and saying, yeah, you probably feel this too, right? How do you think about it? What do you feel? What do you do with these feelings? Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm going to try to do. There's so much of life struggles, I think, that can be helped just by recognizing we're not alone. That literally everyone we care about in the world also goes through this. And so we don't have to deal with it in isolation and get ourselves all prettied up in order to be presentable. We just show up as we are, say, so here's what's going on. How about you? And we share it and help each other through it. So I appreciate Steve being here today to share this with me. Steve says, procrastination is generally my approach to most things, actually, but it works for me more often than you'd think. It works for you. Okay, cool. How so? How does it work? And I think I may understand what you're saying, because there are times where when I put something off, like if it just feels too dangerous to deal with it, if I put it off, then maybe later I will have a little more strength and I'll have better perspective rather than just like forcing myself through it. I think there's something to that. Here's a tip that could be helpful, because I think so this is like compound, right? So it's like, not only am I procrastinating, but now I'm nervous that I'm going to procrastinate so much that I will never do the thing, and then that will make things even worse. So if I'm procrastinating and I recognize it, like, I am scared of this project, I'm scared of this next step, I'm scared of hitting record, and so I'm just unconsciously putting it off. Making it conscious is part of it. But then to put a time limit on it and say, okay, I don't have to do this today, or I don't have to do this right now, but at 12:30 I'm gonna just start, no matter what it takes. Even if I don't actually complete the thing that I'm procrastinating, I will just do the very tiniest of first steps, kind of that atomic habits approach. And then I don't have to do anything else. And then maybe at 3:30, I'll revisit it. And I'll do the tiniest of next steps after that, just to see, like, is it safe to do this now? Can I start to face it in tiny, tiny, tiny increments versus being overwhelmed by the whole largeness of this impossible dream? Because anything that you undertake that you've never done before, I mean, it is impossible. You don't know. You don't know what you're capable of because you haven't done it yet. You know you've done other things that used to be impossible, but this is a whole new thing that's impossible. Steve says, for a while, my life motto was never put off until tomorrow what you can put off until next Tuesday. Never put off until tomorrow what you can put off until next Tuesday. What do you think? That sounds pretty good to me. I will say, in my case, most of the things that I'm procrastinating are things I do actually want to do. They're things that I want, they're changes I want to make in my life. They are steps toward a larger project that I really like. It's a dream, it's a life ambition kind of a thing. I mean, I definitely dealt with that when I was working on arranging Handel's Messiah for that performance that I had in May. There were days where I was so intimidated by it I couldn't face it, and I definitely put off some of those projects until later, but it helped a lot just to start. Now, the danger of this mentality that Steve is pointing out for me was that no one was expecting me to do any of this. It was entirely my own project. And so if I could put it off till next Tuesday, I definitely could put it off till the Tuesday after that, and probably months and months beyond. And then you kind of get tired of putting things off. But what about the things that you don't want? What about the work projects and just the life stuff that comes at you that you have to deal with, that kind of pressure? The financial burdens and the relational challenges, you know, career ambitions. So I really like this song by Queen, the Under Pressure song. You know, it goes, I'm not gonna play it, but it starts off, pressure, pressing down on me, pressing down on you. And that's how it feels, right? I love how it just starts off like both David Bowie and Freddie Mercury just be like, pressure, you know. It just feels accurate, you know. It's just like, yes, pressure, just get it out of here, get it out of your heart and out of your mind. Just like, I feel pressure. Now that song, I think, has a lovely prescription for dealing with pressure, to recognize that we are all under it. It's the terror of knowing what this world is about. Watching some good friends scream, get me out. Pray tomorrow takes you higher. That's not the remedy that's suggested, but really it's about love. If I can remember the lyric, now that we're here, I'm trying to it was right there before I hit record. Now it's out there. The one about can't we give ourselves one more chance? Let's give love one more chance. Cause love's such an old-fashioned word, and love dares you to care for the people on the edge of the light night, and love dares you to change our way of caring about ourselves. This is our last chance. This is I think I think that's all we can really do is try to care for ourselves and our fellow neighbors differently and look out for one another. So how do we do that? I will tell you, in my instance of wanting to play music for people, share my songs with one another, that all started with love. That just started with the idea that I wrote this song that might help you. It helped me process some of these same things that we're talking about in this conversation. And so here, let me play it for you. And that helps relieve some of the performance anxiety. It's just to recognize, here's really what I'm trying to do here. I am here not to impress you. I'm not here to show off. I am here to share this journey that we are in. And here's the opportunity that I have to do it. It is just to invite you in to whatever stage of what I'm doing that I can offer you, and trust that it will help you in some way, because I'm doing it in love. This was something that a business coach told me one time. He used to play professional viola for an orchestra. And he said one day he had a solo, he was so nervous about it, he got up on stage and he was like sweating, and he had practiced a whole bunch but was still hitting wrong notes and was just sort of in a state. And this thought came to him, what if I just play as if I'm giving an offering of love, as if I'm just sharing a gift with the people in this room? And it just made such a difference, both for him internally to be able to play, but also for the way the piece sounded. And I have to tell you, I have experienced that. Steve, do you relate to that at all? That sense of like when sharing something out of a heart of giving, wanting to give a gift to your listeners rather than just be so in your own frustration and concern about it that it's not really fun for anyone, least of all you. So this is something that I hope helps free all of us today as we look at our pressured situations. How can we just pivot a little bit and open up our perspective and say, what's the best way to love people in this? What's the best way to care for myself in this? What am I really trying to do here? What matters? What matters in this situation? So tell me if that sparks any ideas for you. I'm going to play you one more song. This is one that I wrote several years ago about just the daily pressures of life and wanting to get myself out of the rut of having the same fears and the same frustrations and the same old prayers that I was praying all the time because I was just so damn scared and intimidated by life. So I find it still very helpful to reorient my perspective and help me understand what we're really dealing with here. And it's called Starting Line Prayer. Waking up, thinking thoughts, planning through the day. Don't know how I'm gonna pay for it all. Got a list, things to do as long as my arm. Not including what I forgot. It's the same old story, same old habits, same old prayers. I'm stuck in a rut, but it's a new day, and there's mercy that I have never seen. My God will supply every need of mine, as sure as the sunrise. Hope is rewarded with peace of mind, and I want to get mine at the starting line. Oh, 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 oh. still gazing. But it's a new day with more mercy than I have ever dreamed. My God will supply every need of mine as sure as the sunrise. Hope is rewarded with peace of mind, and I want to get mine at the starting line. Oh, 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 every breath I'm given is a gift from heaven. Every breath I'm given is a gift, and I'm still breathing. How do you want to provide for me today? You want to provide for me today. You know what I need. How do you want to provide for me today? You want to provide for me today. You know what I need. And my God will supply every need of mine as sure as the sunrise. Hope is rewarded with peace of mind, and I want to get mine at the starting line. Steve says, I definitely relate. That's the start of most of my projects, is wanting to give something or share something with those around me. Sometimes it gets lost along the way, but I try to come back to it. I think you have absolutely stated it there, Steve. It gets lost. It gets lost along the way. The thing that first inspired us to start up this treacherous, rocky path, you get so focused on how hard it is that you forget why you started up there in the first place. And I think that's all we're trying to do here on Adventurous Spirits, is remind each other, hey, this is a cool idea. This is a good thing that you're doing. Don't give up. Future you will be glad that you persevered. And it stinks sometimes. It's really hard. It's really tough. It takes a lot of guts to do what we do. I just want you all to hear that right now. It takes a lot of guts to do what we do. So give yourself credit and keep going, because we are not done. We are not anywhere close to done. You got to keep going through the pressure to get to the part where you see the fruition of the vision that you had at the beginning of it all. So let's not cheat ourselves out of that beautiful sight. Okay? I won't if you won't. And let's help each other through it. So I love hearing from you. Please tell me if this resonates with you. You can send me an email, cm@courtneymatz.com, or you can leave a comment here on this video on YouTube, or you can go to my website. I mean, there's so many ways to get in touch. Instagram, Facebook. But there's also a Facebook group called Adventurous Spirits, strangely enough. You can go to facebook.com/groups/adventurous spirits, and we will be chatting there, interacting on the whole process of dealing with pressure and coaching each other through, helping each other see the vision that got us into this mess in the first place, so that we don't give up, so that we don't quit, so that we don't lose out on the ultimate benefit of this crazy, adventurous life we've gotten ourselves into. If you're here in Los Angeles, I have a couple of shows coming up that I would love to share with you. Tonight I'm doing a free performance in Valley Village at a place called Kulak's Woodshed. I'm playing a couple of pieces from Handel's Messiah, and I don't know when, it's sometime between 8 and 10, but I will be playing piano and singing, and my friend Reginald will be playing the bass with me, and it's going to be really, really lovely. I don't know who else is playing, so it'll be cool to see who else shows up. So that's tonight, September 12th, and then next week, next Monday, September 18th, is a really fun concert. It's me plus a bunch of other independent artists, and we will be playing songs from the soundtracks of John Hughes movies from the 80s. It's called Angsty 80s Sing-Along. And you'll be completely free to sing along with us if you want. I'm going to be doing a couple of Otis. I'm going to do an Otis Redding song, and I'm doing a Darlene Love song. So all of my soulfulness has to rise to the occasion. It's going to be great. As well as some 80s costuming. I've got my costume. I'm excited. And some trivia. And some goodies and surprises. And just a lovely, lovely time. We're just getting people together and singing with them is always a great time. So I'd love to hear what you're up to. Come and tell me. Until next time, you have fun out there.